make sure, during the process, you're kind of dividing your excitement, if that makes sense. You're being excited for yourself that you're doing this, but you're also being excited for the simple fact that you're doing this for a family. And, let your excitement be for them, but also for you. Don't ever forget about yourself. You're doing something great. You're risking your body, and you're great. You're great.
Welcome to the Surrogacy Scoop, a podcast brought to you by Patriot Conceptions, where we demystify the world of surrogacy from the clinical, family, and surrogate perspective. I'm your host, CJ, and today I am joined by Surrogate Coordinator at the Patriot Conceptions team, Aaliyah, and her daughter, Amirah. Welcome to the show, both of you.
Thank you, CJ. It was nice meeting you for the first time.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you as well. I am so excited for this. I have seriously been looking forward to this recording.
Me too. I'm happy we're finally able to do this.
I know, seriously. I'm so excited to kind of just hear about both of your experiences and both of you in general.
I'm so excited to give you an insight on the whole everything. So
awesome. So before we jump too deep, why don't you tell us a little bit maybe about both of you and then your role at Patriot, Aaliyah?
Okay, so my name's Aaliyah. This is Amirah. I'm 27. My daughter is 6. She'll be turning 7 in March. I am a surrogate mother of 2. I'm actually in the process. I'm actually in the process of doing my 3rd journey, and I have not really been open about this yet. Because it's kind of more so like a surprise, but for whoever does see this, surprise. So my first journey was in 2021 when I gave birth in 2022, of course. And I carried for just a dad who wanted a baby, obviously. He didn't really care about, like, because when it comes to, doing like our match meeting where, potential surrogates meet, their IPs, which is also known as intended parents. I did ask him, like, this is my first time. So I'm just like, did he want me to be on a strict diet? Did he want me to incorporate anything into my diet? However, he was pretty easygoing. We did have a baby girl. So I do have a surrogate daughter. He actually paid for his gender, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. During the process, I had asked him, I was just like, are you hoping for a baby girl, baby boy? He's like, oh, no, it's a girl. So in my head, when he said this, I kind of was just like, is this man psychic? Like, did he, like, how does he know this? However, that's when I found out that, he paid for the gender. However, my second journey was in 2023, and I gave birth in 2024 to a baby boy, a big 8-pound baby boy. So sweet. Um, yeah, so with that journey, I just carried for just a mom. There was no dad involved. It was great. But as far as my role at Patriot, I'm pretty much a surrogate coordinator. And with my position, I'm helping our surrogates throughout their journey. I'm comforting them, I'm pretty much helping them with every step along the way. I'm always open for whenever they have questions, concerns, or if they're ever just feeling a little nervous during the process, or kind of just more so giving them my insight on how my journey went. And like I said, just guiding them throughout their journey and just being there for them every step of the way.
Awesome. Yeah, that really interesting insights about both of your journeys as well. And congratulations
Thank
on
you.
number
Thank
3
you.
coming up.
Actually, with number 3, it's going to be a sibling journey. So the baby boy that I gave birth last year, he'll be having a sibling this year. So I'm so happy.
Wow.
So excited.
Wow. I don't think I have talked to a surrogate mother yet who has done a sibling journey. But it's something I've been really curious about. So that is very cool. I'm
Yeah,
excited to learn more about your process.
most definitely. I can't wait to give you more info.
Awesome. And then Amirah, maybe tell us a little bit about you. You have a birthday coming up.
You want to talk about yourself? She's my baby so shy. So this is so new to her. Tell her about yourself.
I don't know.
So how old are you?
6.
Okay, do you have any siblings, any brothers and sisters? But yes, so she has a brother. She has a brother who's 4, he'll be 5 in July. She also has a sister who's 10, who will be 11 in July as well. Um, she's in 1st grade.
I'm really just excited to have both of you here today.
Perfect.
Do you have a favorite school subject, Amira?
What do you like to do in school? What do you like to learn in school?
I'd like to learn school. I like to learn math.
Math? What's your favorite?
Huh?
What's your favorite? Do you like adding? Do you like subtracting? What
Coding.
you like adding? You're really good at it too.
Thank you.
You're wel
Good subject to be interested early, so probably pretty smart, Amira.
When I tell you top of her class, she does so good. She's so good to the point where she complains to me that kids are copying off of her work, like and it's so crazy because, you know, this is my first child, so I was happy that it wasn't the other way around where she's copying on other people's things, so it's like, "Okay." I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, she's hardworking. She gets
Yes,
it.
very.
Well, that is perfect setup for our conversation today. I imagine too, Amira, that you know what's going on. You're probably pretty perceptive. So maybe talk to us a little bit, Aaliyah, about how that conversation went with your children about your first surrogacy journey.
Okay, so honestly, the first time my daughter was very, very young. I don't with me explaining it to her, I still don't think she really understood it. It kind of was just like, "Oh, mommy's getting fat. Mommy's getting a big mommy has a big belly," you know? I used to I used to show her like, like when the baby would kick, I would let her feel when the baby was moving.
And I failed it.
I know you did feel it. She did experience this when I was pregnant with her little brother. However, I was trying to explain to her, during the process, like, this isn't your baby brother, this isn't your baby sister. I was able to FaceTime her, once I did give birth. However, it kind of was like once I came home, she was kinda confused, like, "Okay, so where's the baby?" Like, "Where is the baby?" But I don't know. It wasn't one of those things where, like, she was sad about it. It probably caused just a little bit confusion, but for the second time, she did understand it. I also even showed her like a picture of the IPs. Also she would see like the ultrasound pictures and I just will always remind her like, this is not our baby. This is not, a sibling for you. We're pretty much helping a family who can't have a kid. So that's kinda how that was. She would just see the ultrasound and she's like, "Mommy, that's the baby in your stomach?" And I was just explaining to her like, "Yes, but just a reminder, this is not a sibling for you, I'm not gonna bring this baby home. Baby is gonna be going with, the mom, with the dad type of thing." "Come on, girl." But, yeah, so that's pretty much how that went. And then also, like, with my son, it kinda was like a, "Oh, okay." Like, he didn't really understand it much. He did see that my stomach was getting big, but yeah, he didn't really fully understand it much. Maybe this time he'll understand it more being that, he's turning 5, so yeah.
I turned 7.
You are turning 7.
He.
Yeah, that's really interesting, especially because your kids are not, you know, I guess how do I say this? Your first surrogacy journey would have happened right not too long after you had your son.
Mhm, mhm. Yes, because I gave birth to my son 2020, and then first surrogate journey started 2021.
Mhm. Yeah, so it's like, they're at the age where they might anticipate siblings or,
Mhm, mhm.
that's kind of something that's definitely relevant to
Right.
both of them, but especially Amira. So kind of keeping up with that and keeping track of that, it sounds like you kind of walked her through every single step of the journey,
Mhm.
especially on this most recent one. Maybe, Amira,
Hmm.
what did you think about your mom helping another family have a baby?
Happy.
It made you feel happy? Why did it make you feel happy?
So people have to have their baby.
So people can have their baby? Oh, that's sweet. That's a sweet way of thinking.
Yeah, that is so sweet. And so, you know, strong of your mom to be able to do that and also take care of you and your little brother at the same time. Were there any things that you noticed happening with your mom when she was pregnant? Obviously, aside from growing a big belly.
When I was pregnant, did you notice anything?
No.
No. Just a big belly? It's so funny.
You have
It's so funny because when I tell her about the big belly, she kinda just thinks like, "No, I'm being mean, calling mommy fat." You're not calling mommy fat, babe. It's just a big belly. It happens when it.
I don't like a big belly.
Yeah, so she's really, like, concerned when it comes to, like, my feelings and stuff. She does not wanna make it seem like she's calling me big. She doesn't wanna make it seem like she's calling my stomach big.
Yeah.
It's okay.
No.
Well, that's really sweet of you. I mean, obviously,
So
you
sweet.
care a lot about your mom's feelings, um, which is so important.
So sweet.
Aaliyah, what were maybe some of the things anticipated or maybe some things that surprised you about going through a surrogacy journey with two kids of your own?
So what surprised me was it might sound well, okay, so when it came to me taking my injections, I never knew how strong the progesterone was because it literally made me feel like a zombie. It made me feel like a zombie. So it's like, I was always so tired. I always was so, so tired. I literally felt like no matter how much I went to sleep, it just wasn't enough. I woke up and I was still tired, and then, having to, because around the time, like, for my first journey, my daughter wasn't in school. So, it was pretty simple. I didn't have to, do homework, help with homework, wake her up, take her to school, pack lunch. I didn't have to do this. But the second time, she, this time, she was in kindergarten. She was in kindergarten. So it was definitely a little bit more different from my second journey because I had a little bit more responsibilities. Um, I was a mom already, but I was a mom who had to take my child to school, had to help with homework, had to go to, parent teacher nights, I had to do these things. So it definitely was much more of a responsibility, but it's not something that I would ever change. I definitely enjoyed it. It was a very rewarding feeling. Um, I felt I literally felt like a superhero. I felt like a superhero. The fact that, I was able to do so much things plus carry the weight of a baby. And the fact that this baby wasn't mine, it was just one of those things where I literally felt like a superhero. I felt like a superhero because I was able to get these things done, plus be a full-time mom to my son while my daughter was at school. Um, so that definitely shocked me with the progesterone. What else? During the I don't know, during the process, for instance, for the mother that I cared for my last journey, um, she was very she was very nervous during the process. She was very, very nervous, and I didn't experience this with the dad. Now, I experienced this with, the mom because, she suffered from large fibroids, and with this, she never really got to experience a pregnancy because it will always fail. So she was kinda nervous for me because she felt like, maybe this is not something that's gonna be able to happen for her. She felt like, what she experienced, she kinda felt like I was gonna experience this, and, I kinda just literally was always giving her updates just to, calm her nerves, just to, give her some type of peace of mind, for every appointment, I was sending her, pictures, videos of the ultrasound, and inside of these doctors' offices, it does state like, "Oh, there's no recording allowed. Do not have your phone out." But, I would just explain to them the situation, and, at that point, it was like, "Okay, take as many videos, take as many pictures as you want," and, it really warmed my heart. It really warmed my heart, the fact that, they were willing to do this, because with them willing to do this, I'm able to give comfort to the mom that I'm caring for. Um, so yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing because like I said, she felt like this was not gonna be able to happen for her. And when I tell you, I get so many updates, and it warmed my heart so much because there was a point in time that she felt like she was never gonna have a child. So definitely, definitely a rewarding feeling.
Yeah, that's well, that additional level of
Mhm.
updates and just like maybe just the increased
Yeah.
communication, you're doing all that while also having a daughter in kindergarten and having a
Yes.
baby at home.
Yes.
So it's like, as your children's life becomes a little bit more complicated, your surrogacy journey becomes a little bit more involved. So you're balancing and just, yeah, keeping a track of a lot of different things. I meant to ask you this at
Eh,
the front of the episode, but what was it that made you want to become a surrogate mother?
okay, so initially, my mom, she had a friend, and her friend had a friend whose daughter was a surrogate. And this is before, I was even a mom. However, growing up, I never was like a partier. I never was a person that just had to go out. I was always a homebody. Also, my mom had, foster kids. Also, I was an aunt at a younger age. So, I don't in a way, I was always kinda like a nurturer. My mom was a truck driver when she had her foster kids. Also, I was homeschooled. So, a lot of the times I was at home. There was times that, I had my mom's foster kids. So, being a mother was kinda like already like a natural thing for me. Also, before I was even an aunt, I was always, like, babysitting, so being around kids was always my normal. However, when I did have my own kid, the love was just, like, unmatched, like, literally unmatched. So then, when I met my mom's friend whose friend had a daughter who was a surrogate, I just thought it was so cool. I thought it was so cool that she gave birth, for a family who was in need. Also, this baby literally had nothing of her. I was literally mind blown that this was even a thing. I've seen, like, movies and whatnot, but I've never actually met a surrogate, around that time. So, to actually meet her and see and hear about the journey that she went through, I just thought it was so cool. However, like I said, when I had my daughter, the love was unmatched. I felt like I felt love because, oh, I had nieces and nephews. I thought I had felt love because, I was around my mom's foster children. But when I had my own, there's just no way to even explain that love. It literally was like, "Oh my god, you're mine, you're mine." There's no, "I'm babysitting you." There's no, "Oh, I'm your aunt." I'm your mom, and I have to teach you about life. I have to build you. I have to mold your brain, to be a good person, So it was one of them things where after I had my daughter, I definitely wanted to do surrogacy because I'm just like, there's people who's not experiencing this type of love. There's people who want to experience this and they're not able to. So I kind of was the person that wanted to have my own kids before I did this. And luckily for my second pregnancy, I had my son, which I wanted. So the fact that I was able to have both genders, I had both genders, and I was like, I'm done. But I also did enjoy pregnancy. I never really experienced, like, a bad pregnancy. My pregnancies were, for the most part, pretty smooth going. Um, everyone is gonna experience contractions. Everyone's gonna experience Braxton Hicks. Some people experience, heartburn, some people don't. However, that wasn't, like, a big factor. It wasn't something that scared me when it came to pregnancy. So, the fact that I got both of my kids out the way, it was like, "Okay, I wouldn't mind doing this again. I wouldn't mind doing this again, but at this point, I wouldn't mind helping a family who's in need. And when I heard like the stories of like people trying to conceive, I literally watched so many like YouTube videos, TikTok videos, and I even had a friend who was struggling with infertility and seeing her, go through the pregnancy test. And there was times that she would send me the pregnancy test and ask me like, "Oh, does this look does this look positive to you?" And it used to hurt my heart when I had to tell her, like, "I don't see it." So witnessing it and then also hearing other people's stories, it kinda was, like, tugging on my heartstrings, and like I said, I already wanted to become a surrogate, but at that point, I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna sign up." I did, and the journey was amazing. It was so amazing, it was so rewarding once I gave birth to the babies and, they were healthy, they were full term, I literally felt like I ran past the finish line. And, I literally helped somebody, I don't know, pretty much complete their family. Like I don't know, it was just so rewarding. So rewarding.
Wow. Yeah, that is, you know, not only are you talking about love just from your own perspective with your own family, but wanting to give people that opportunity. Um, it's so selfless and it takes so much out of you from, you know, literally every single aspect of yourself, mentally, physically, your time. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, so making all those sacrifices while having a family of your own, that obviously, and it's very obviously showed just through these couple of minutes we've been talking on the podcast together, a very important and very like meaningful part of your life.
Thank you so
So
much.
that is so incredible. Yeah, that's such a beautiful story.
Thank
Um,
you.
and you did talk about how your pregnancies have been, obviously not without some hiccups, but for the most part, pretty easy. Maybe, Amaya, was there any difficult parts for you when your mom was pregnant?
When we was at the car and he was just screaming and crying. He was just cooking the car.
Okay, so what she's describing is when I was in labor. I was in labor and I literally almost gave birth to my surrogate son in the car. Um, yeah, so this was my very first time ever experiencing my water breaking. Like for both of my kids, the nurses popped my water bag. Also for the first, well, even for my first journey, like I never experienced my water breaking. So this time I experienced it and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's not bad." I'm a little dramatic. I've always seen like people's water bags. I've seen people's water break in like movies. They're in the store and however, I never experienced that. So when I experienced it, I just felt like, okay, that's not that bad. But then next thing you know, the contractions started kicking in. The contractions started kicking in, and my hospital bag was already packed and whatnot. However, oh my god, the contractions just got so bad, and my daughter didn't go to school that day, so once we're leaving, there's so much traffic. People are taking their kids to school. We leave out, the bus is out, the school bus is out, they have their stop sign out. It was just so bad. We kept catching red lights, then once we got on the freeway, it was bumper to bumper traffic. I'm literally falling out of my seat. I'm falling out of my seat, I'm on the floor, I'm kicking, I'm screaming. It was so bad to the point where I didn't even have the time to swallow spit. My mouth was so dried. The hospital was like 31 minutes from us, and this was our very first time going to this hospital. Um, yeah, so by the time we made it there, I don't know, my kid's dad, he had asked the people at the hospital, like, "Can you bring a wheelchair?" She's in labor. It was just so bad. Literally, I wanna say 5 minutes of me being in the hospital from getting wheeled up on the elevator to running to the delivery room. Literally, I think baby came out within, like, 3 minutes. Like, he literally when I tell you it was so crazy. If I knew it was gonna be that bad, I would have camped out at the hospital like it was Black Friday. Like, it was so bad. But, yeah, so that's what she was describing. She did not like that. She was so sad. She was like, "Mommy, why are you crying? Why are you crying?" And I couldn't talk. I couldn't talk. All I could do was scream, yell, and cry. "Why are you making that face?" Yeah. Yes. Oh, I felt like I was gonna deliver a baby in the car. Oh my god. I was terrified, but is there anything else that, like, made you sad when I was pregnant?
Mm,
What was it, baby?
when I try to tell you something while you're like crying and you can't be say nothing. And then you can't just you cry and scream.
I'm sorry. That's why when I wasn't in pain anymore, well, when the pain was going and the pain was like would stop at certain times, that's why I was telling you. I said, mommy can't talk right now. I said, when I'm just screaming and crying, I can't talk is because my stomach is hurting and the baby's gonna be coming out. So that's why I try to tell you that. So you
It was
understood.
almost coming out.
Yeah, the baby was coming out that day.
It was like that.
The baby was that big. The baby was about this big.
No, I'm talking about when the baby's coming, when it was almost there.
The baby was finna come out within that amount of time. Yeah, so mommy was in a lot of pain.
What?
Yeah, that's why I couldn't talk.
I know, so crazy. Wow.
It's funny.
Well, that I mean, honestly, that is another really incredible story.
Yes.
And thank you
Yes.
for bringing that up, Amaya. Really like these, just kind of real anecdotes from things that you experienced and how it affected your loved ones. Um, yeah, I guess kind of continuing along that, what do you think has been maybe the most rewarding part of having your kids support you during your two, now going on three surrogacy journeys?
I feel like the biggest thing with it is the fact that, they're not upset about it. They're not upset about it because my thing is my kids could be one of the kids that because I will say this, my kids do want another sibling. And in all honesty, that's not something that I want to do right now. That's not something that I'm ready for. And in all honesty, I don't know if I'm ever gonna have another child of my own. I literally have the best of both worlds. I'm not in a place where I want to start over, because here it is. If I did have another child of my own, I'm going to have to deal with with my kids, I breastfed. So I'm going to have to do the breastfeeding over again. I'm going to have to do the waking up every couple of hours, to feed. I'm going to have to change diapers. I'm going to have to, it's a lot that comes with that. And in reality, I don't think that I wanna do that again. I don't wanna go through the potty training stage again. My kids are at a point where they are really dependent, they are able to tell me, what they want to eat. They are able to tell me what they wanna watch on TV, what they wanna do today, what they're craving. So it's really important to me that the fact that, they are very supportive. They are very supportive, they're happy to see these ultrasound pictures, and they're also understanding the fact that this is not a sibling, and they're okay with it. They're okay with it. So that's really big for me, and I just love the fact that they're understanding and accepting the fact that, okay, yeah, mommy's pregnant again. Yes, I do want a sibling, but I am okay and I am supporting mommy with the fact that she's helping another family. So that's very, very big for me. And I'm happy that, they're not sad throughout the process. They're very uplifting. They're very helpful. When I was having Braxton Hicks, my son did not know what to do, but he came and brought me my favorite drink and he was rubbing my back. I just felt like that was just so sweet for him to be, only 4. So I don't know, they're very, very, very sweet kids. They're very supportive, they're very caring, they're very empathetic. So yeah, they're great. They're literally so great.
Yeah. Wow, that is so incredible. I'm like feel like I'm gonna cry just hearing about your family. Maybe kind of alongside that as well, how do you feel like your journeys have shaped your children's view of, family, but also giving back to others?
So with that, I feel like now they understand because, like I said, they've seen mommy pregnant twice. Well, my daughter, she's seen mommy pregnant 3 times. So with that, I love the fact that she understands that there's some people that can't have kids. There's some people that, do have a hard time having kids. And I like the fact that she understands that mommy is helping, And in a sense, not to toot my own horn, but it makes me feel like I'm a superhero. They love watching like superhero, they like watching Marvel films. So I kind of feel like I fit in that category now.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up superheroes because this is something that I've been kind of thinking about recently in my work in my field. How there really are, everybody loves superheroes, but they're not real. And so, what are the superheroes that are among us? And the things that come to my mind are mothers, public servants,
Mhm,
teachers,
mhm.
and I would absolutely lump in surrogate mothers in that group as well
Right.
because it's just so selfless, it's so giving, and it's really giving yourself for a
Mhm.
higher cause.
Right. Most definitely. Most definitely. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Amira, I want to know if you have any advice for other kids who maybe their mom is going through a surrogacy journey as well.
So, what would you tell other kids? So, you know how mommy's a surrogate? Okay, so what would you tell other kids whose moms there is gonna be a surrogate? What would you say to them? Is there anything that you would like to say to them?
Yeah.
Would you tell them, to be nice to their mom while she's pregnant with someone else's baby? What would you tell them?
Be nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, listen, that's a good message, especially um, for, other kids out there. I think
Mhm.
definitely be nice, be considerate, and it really sounds like that's something that you don't need to ask of Amira. That is pretty second nature to her.
It's so sweet. Thank you, boo.
And then, Aaliyah, is there any advice that you would give to someone embarking on their first surrogacy
Mhm.
journey with two young kids?
Um, what I would say is first and foremost, I always tell, like, our girls because some girls, they ask me, like, "How do you not get attached?" How do you, deal with your mental during the process?" And I always tell girls, always remember that at the end of the day, this is not your child, but always remember that you are doing something great. I always tell them, if this is something that you want to do, definitely be excited during the process, but don't get excited and start tricking your mind because I feel like certain times when feel the baby kick, certain times when you see the ultrasound, it's just like, oh, and there's nothing wrong with that. But always remember in the back of your mind, this is not my child. At the end of the day, I'm going to have to give this child up. Always be excited for yourself. Always give yourself the praise because in reality, you deserve it. You're doing something so selfless and you're doing something great for another family. Always, you know, always praise yourself. Always remember that you're doing something great, but at the same time, get excited during the process, but also make sure you're getting excited for the parents. Because at the end of the day, it's nothing wrong with being excited during this process, but certain excitement can trick your mind into believing this is your child. And in reality, you don't want to mess up your mental. You don't ever want to get too attached because it will mess with you. And I know this for the simple fact that, like I said, I've watched so many videos. I've watched so many videos. I've seen some women crying when they have to give the baby up. So I had to prepare myself mentally. I always had to remember, I'm doing business. I'm also building a relationship with my IPs. And, I'm excited, but I'm excited for them. I'm excited for the simple fact that I'm making this happen. I'm excited for the simple fact that I'm able to even do this. But at the end of the day, I'm excited for the parents. So I always tell people, to make sure, during the process, you're kind of dividing your excitement, if that makes sense. Um, you're being excited for yourself that you're doing this, but you're also being excited for the simple fact that you're doing this for a family. And let your excitement be for them, but also for you. Don't ever forget about yourself. You're doing something great. You're risking your body and you're great. You're great. So I always try to tell my girls that because like I said, it can mess with you if you allow it. If you allow it. But no, most definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that's like seriously some really good advice. I always ask that question, and the answers are so curious, and that one is so um practical. It's very Yeah, just like real life, obviously this is emotional, especially too because you're pregnant, so your hormones are a little bit elevated. Yeah. Um, and yeah, kind of dividing that excitement and keeping your emotions just, yeah, a little bit more divided like that. I think that's really practical and really like useful advice that somebody, starting on that journey or about to start on that journey could really utilize. Um, yeah, incredible. So, I do want to give the last word to both of you. Our audience is mostly people who are very, very new to the surrogacy world, either interested in becoming a surrogate mother and interested in potentially having a child via this way. So I'll leave it to both of you. Is there anything that you would want to say to our audience about your experiences or just your thoughts about this world in general?
So I will say this because, like I said, that I am a surrogate coordinator. I am working with surrogates, also potential surrogates. Do not think that it happens fast. It does not happen fast with whatever agency that you go through. It's a process. It's a process. It just takes commitment. It takes dedication. It takes definitely to be selfless. And remember, like I said, you're doing something great. You're doing something great. And I wish you guys all well. Trust the process, trust in yourself, believe in yourself. You can do it as long as you have, an amazing support system and, your mind is dedicated on doing this. You can do it. You can do it. I've done it twice. And like I said, I'm doing my third journey. It can happen. I can do it. You definitely can do it. And I'm so excited and I'm so proud of everyone who is doing it and who's also interested in doing it. And I wish you guys nothing but the best. So, congratulations. If you guys, well, for the ones that's already pregnant and for the ones who's doing their journey, starting their journey, I'm so proud of all of you guys.
Awesome. That is such an incredible piece to leave us on. I will give it to you too, Amirah. Is there anything that you want to say to our podcast listeners today?
My baby's so shy. Anything you want to say, love? So I don't think Mara has anything to say. Did you enjoy our convo today? Yeah. No.
Awesome. Well, good luck on your upcoming journey. I think that this would be something really interesting to maybe follow up on, a year from now or after your next journey, to hear from both of you again and
Most
how,
definitely.
yeah, just hearing about what you think about it.
Maybe Amira next time won't be too shy.
That's okay. Listen, these podcasts are not easy, and she's got a lot going on in her life, so I
Okay.
get it.
Right.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much for your time today. Again, thank you to our listeners for tuning in. I think a follow up episode would be such an incredible opportunity, not only for us, but also for our audience. So, again, thank you so much for your time today.
You have a good
Bye,
one.
CJ.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Surrogacy Scoop, and I hope you found value in this meaningful conversation. For all resources mentioned in the episode or to connect with Patriot Conceptions online, visit the description. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast hosting platform and share this episode with those in your life who may be interested in getting involved.